Lesson 23 is the one that we did today. Granted, we really only, because it's a short Monday, we really only got to hit some of the learning targets, not all. However, I'm not that concerned because tomorrow we're doing something similar. So, and we can even hit more of these things. Yeah. But the goal is to practice writing, interpreting, and graphing solutions to inequalities in two variables. So mostly today we focus on graphing and using graphing technology. Again, you need to know how to graph by hand. It's on your constructed response test. It's really easy to see when you don't actually know how. I mean, Desmos is good, like, do something, just try. But I can definitely see like when the y-intercept is wrong or when the slope is wrong, when I grade it, I check that. Like that's specifically what I check for. And then of course, you have the added fun of like, dash versus solid, shaded above or below, and all that stuff. So just add that to your steps for graphing. But we did not get to spend as much time talking about word problems, basically. So when it's from a description, being able to identify the constraints and how to represent those. So let's just kind of talk about that for a little bit. It is just like when it was equation, except for now you're not using an equal sign. You're using an inequality symbol. There's 4 different kinds. So you have to know which inequality symbol to use. But still, like I would suggest you identify your totals first. So I'm going to read you one. And you're going to tell me what the totals are. So a seafood restaurant owner orders perch and salmon. Perch is $4 a pound. Salmon is $3 a pound. He wants to buy at least 50 pounds of fish, but cannot spend more than $240. All right, we're going to write a system of linear inequalities to represent that. So in a system, how many inequalities will I need if it's a system? Because that's what we're progressing to, systems of linear inequalities now. So systems of equations, how many equations were there? Minimum requirement for it to be a system. 2. All right, and in this level of your math, you're only going to look at when it's 2, not more. But it would need at least 2 to make it a system. So we're talking about linear inequalities. We're going to have 2 separate inequalities that represent what's going on. So I told you to keep an eye out for the totals. Table 4, can you tell me what one of my totals is? $240. So that's like the total that he can spend. Now I didn't put equals 240 because these are inequalities. So it says he cannot spend more than 250. So whatever he spends is going to go on the left side. So can I put it with this symbol then? Table 6, can you tell me? If he cannot spend more than 240, then should it be this symbol? Okay, so then let's try flipping it. I agree with you. All right. If he cannot spend more than 240, he can definitely spend less. Can he spend exactly 240? Yes. So then we're going to put that little line in there. So I don't memorize random phrases to symbols. I just see what makes logical sense. And that's what you should do. Table 1, can you tell me what the other total is in this situation? So that's how much something costs. So that's not necessarily my total. Try again. What number? 50, good. That's my other total. That's my other constraint, right? So he needs to buy at least 50 pounds. So could whatever he buys class be more than 50 pounds? Yes, could it be exactly 50 pounds? If it's at least. So then these are the symbols we use. All right, and then now what goes on the other side is just like it was when we did equations, like to see what contributes to the 240 total. So table 2, what contributes to the 240 total? Okay, and how can I show that like mathematically? Well, you don't want to do that because we already have the symbol, like you don't want to put an equals over here because we already have an inequality symbol. But how can I show that perch is like $4 a pound? Do we know how many pounds he's buying? But that's combined. That's the perch and the salmon. Do we know how many pounds of perch that he's buying? So then maybe we use a variable for that, like P or X, it doesn't really matter. So that's the perch is $4 a pound. How can I show that salmon's $3 a pound? 3S. And then I'm gonna put a plus in between because that combined, that gives me the 240. Make sense? And then table 3, what about for this one when we're just talking about the pounds of each? What did I write on this side? Okay, good. And when you're setting up your systems, one of them will probably be really simple like that. Okay, just FYI, it won't be like that all the time, but most likely it'll be really simple like that. And now you have it, and now you can graph it. And so forth. Questions on that? All right, and then for graphing, you can make one of these X, the other one Y. You can make it slope intercept form and then graph that. But that covers like the word problems of it. Be able to represent it. The only thing that's different from what we did in the last part of the unit is that now it's an inequality. Questions on that? Okay. So then what you need to do today is you have your puzzle piece, 23. But also, if you did not do the booklet on Friday, you need to, because I'm putting that in as an assessment. So if you did it already, great, you don't need to do it again. But if you typed in your name and like didn't work on it, like maybe all you did was type in your name, so say like no progress or something like that, then you need to go back and do some of it. It's gonna take you like the whole time. But like maybe around 20 minutes, I think would be enough to reach the goal that's on there. You see the score decently enough. But that was Friday's stuff. So if you already did it, great. And then other things you could do if you're an overachiever is get like your binder ready for this Thursday. Use those study guides for the tests. And here's like a to-do list. The reason I'm putting the booklet in as an assessment is because some of you need that. And usually anything that is like not just doing your algebra homework needs to go in as that. That's kind of project. So questions on anything I just said? Okay. If you need help or you're not sure what you did or whatever, let me know.